Hey guys, I am back in Australia, currently doing my 2-week hotel quarantine in Sydney. This video, part 3 of my traveling during COVID-19 vlog series, is going to be about hotel quarantine. How I went flying from LA into Australia. It was like having my flight cancelled last minute because that did happen and that was a little stressful. How I managed to get a replacement flight. Generally just documenting what the food is like here, what the process is like, what it's like living in one room for 2 weeks. So if you're interested, keep watching. If you have seen part 1 of this travel vlog series, you'll know that I originally booked my return flights with Air New Zealand. It cost me roughly 3,000 Australian dollars return. 4 days before I was meant to fly out, I got an email from Air New Zealand saying that a change had happened to my return flight from LA to Auckland, Auckland to Melbourne, and to call the airline to find out what the change was. I thought that maybe my flight was delayed by like a couple of hours or maybe even like a couple of days. I ended up calling them up and they said that it's been basically completely cancelled. New Zealand had like a pop-up of 8 cases, but basically Australia said like no more flights from New Zealand until you can kind of figure out where this outbreak of 8 cases has come from and get a lock on it. So I managed to get a refund for that, and then my partner and I went looking for the cheapest flights that we could find to get me back home because they were expensive. We ended up finding a Delta flight, LA directly to Sydney and then Sydney to Melbourne for $3,000 US. And I know that's really expensive, like that's US dollars. So in Australian dollars, it's probably another 30% more. So it might be 3,900 Australian dollars. There were a couple of other airlines, but everything I looked at was like United, American, Emirates airline, and everything was looking to be about $6,000 upwards. So $3,000 was half of what every other airline was charging. So I called Delta, asked the representative if Delta was successfully landing in Melbourne or like into Australia. Obviously, a lot of airlines are having cancellations and delays. So I said, could you please look up like the last 2 weeks of flights within Delta that had landed in Australia and tell me if they've been cancelled or delayed, or if people have been booted off the flight and put on a later flight, if they've reached capacities. And this kind representative literally looked up through their system like every flight that Delta had that flew into Australia for the last 2 weeks. And that put my mind very at ease, because a lot of other airlines were saying like, oh, like we had 3 flights scheduled last week and 2 of them got cancelled, but 1 of them made it. And so with that kind of luck of the draw, it's really scary to know if your flight's going to get cancelled, if you're going to get stranded in another country. Anyway, so he answered all of my questions, he booked my flights, he booked my seats for me, and then essentially we were ready to go. So now I'm going to talk about what the airport was like. I wouldn't say it was busy, but I wouldn't say it was empty. There were people there, and it looked like a few people were doing domestic flights, because in America, I think pretty much you can fly between the states as freely as you want. The check-in was really easy. I didn't have to wait long. All up, it took about 15 minutes. From check-in, I then went to security, and that was really quick. Every time I visited LA, I always have to wait like an hour to get through security, just because there are so many international travels coming in and out of LAX, because it's a huge international departure airport. But I got through security in about 10 minutes. After security, like where some of the gates are, and they have like some shops, some restaurants and some news agencies and stuff like that. This is where I recommend, if you want to buy water, you buy water, and I'm glad that I did. Everything else was like closed. So this departure hall that has gates only has some of the gates. The gate that I had to go to, I had to take a shuttle bus to. So I basically bought water and then said, okay, now I'll navigate my way down to the shuttle bus, and then the shuttle bus drove me to another part of the airport where my gate was. And then when I got there, there was nothing open. Like there was not a single restaurant, there was not any shop. So if you have to get on the shuttle bus to go to your gate, I highly recommend that you buy any of your last minute food, snacks, magazines, books, anything you need straight after security, because I had a night flight, so maybe if you're flying during the day, it'll be different. But everything that's at like the shuttle bus terminal with those gates is closed. We started boarding, and I already noticed when we were boarding, there were not many people. Like I felt like I could count everybody there on like my hands. Like I didn't see many people. And I ended up getting on the flight, and I heard one of the passengers ask one of the air stewardess how many people were on the flight, and they said that it was about 20. They said there were 7 people in business and about 11 in economy, which was amazing. This is the emptiest flight I've ever been on in my life. Even when I flew Melbourne to Auckland, there was about 30 or 40 people, and you can see that in part 2 of my travel vlog series. I showed what that flight was like. And then from Auckland to LA, was more people. It was like 50 or 60 people. But this flight had like 20 people and it was empty. I do have some footage from the flight, so I'll try and insert all that now. I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I obviously sanitized everything with my wipes again when I got here, but I didn't film it because it's 10:30 at night and I'm tired. And I was just really focused on doing a good job, so I wasn't going to hold my phone and distract myself. Yeah, I'm ready to take off and sleep and arrive in Sydney tomorrow morning. Then we disembarked the plane, and the first thing we did was go to passport clearance. So we all went in a line. They guide you through the whole thing. Like, you literally have an escort, and you all travel as a group. So like, nobody gets left behind. You don't like go individually. They basically make sure everyone's off the flight, and then they take you together through the airport, and then they stop at the toilets and say like, everybody, if you need to go to the toilet, go to the toilet. So you do have the opportunity to go to the bathroom. You don't have to, but you just have to wait for everyone who's going to go. So I would recommend that you go anyway, otherwise you're just waiting around. And then we did passport control, so we all had to line up, social distance. They're obviously not doing the smart passport. I don't know anyone who's traveled to Australia before. Usually they have like smart passport screeners that are these machines that if you have like an electronic passport, you can just like scan it and like scan your fingerprints and then you can go through. All of those machines were shut down, so they were doing it old fashioned, just with like the officer behind the desk. But that was fine. We all went through that. It did take a little while because you have to wait for everybody to do it. So it's not like usually when you travel, if you do that, you can move to like the next station. Like, you have to wait for the whole group. Luckily my group was like 20 people, but I can imagine if you had a bigger flight that had 40, 50, 60 people, that could take a little longer. And then after that we went through like I can't say this is it declaration or declaring, I'm not sure, area where basically you say if you've got like nuts or fruit or like stuff like that. Luckily nobody in my group really had anything to declare, so we whizzed through that area quickly. Then we waited in a line to get out of the whole airport, and eventually we all got out and they loaded us onto a bus. We thought that someone would walk on the bus and say like, oh, you guys are going to this hotel, because we had no idea. Like, no one had told us anything at this point. But essentially we sat on the bus waiting for them to load the bags into the bottom, and then a bus driver just like randomly walked onto the bus and started driving and like did not say anything. And you could just see everybody looking at each other like, where are we going? What's happening? And then we ended up actually pulling up to the Meriton Suite apartments, I think they're called, on Sussex Street. And we were all like, oh, this is where we are. And then the bus driver said, sorry, this is only like, please don't get off the bus. This is only for 2 passengers to go to. And we were all like, what? But just to explain, in Victoria, and I don't know if this is for New South Wales too, I think it must be, but in Victoria there are 3 types of hotel that you can stay at during hotel quarantine. Normal hotels, which is just like you get off the airport, you don't have COVID symptoms, you don't have any special medical conditions, like you're just a normal passenger and you go to a normal hotel to quarantine. Second type of hotel is a medical hotel, and that's for people like if you're pregnant, or if you have like a medical condition that's not related to COVID, like if you have maybe diabetes. Those people go to medical hotels where essentially they don't have COVID and they don't have COVID symptoms, but they have some kind of medical condition that requires additional attention. And those hotels have different treatments to the normal hotel and are obviously allowed to have better doctor access. The third type of hotel is like a COVID hotel, which is either you've tested positive for COVID, or at the airport you were showing COVID symptoms like a fever, flu, shortness of breath, and they send you there. Because they obviously, if there's a chance you have COVID, they don't want you at the same hotel with people that definitely don't have COVID. So yeah, so they said that 2 people were getting off at the Meriton Suites on Sussex Street, and I imagine that those 2 people, I'm guessing it was like a medical hotel, so they might have had medical conditions that they needed help with. At that point, the 2 people got off the bus driver helped them get into the hotel, and the rest of us started talking like, oh my God, like we thought this was our hotel, like where are we going? And then somebody decided like, okay, when the bus driver gets on, I'm just gonna ask him. The bus driver got back on the bus, and then the person that was sitting at the front asked him, excuse me, could you please tell us like where the rest of us are going? Are you allowed to do that? And he said, oh yeah, sure, like I'm happy to tell you. None of you asked, so I didn't say anything. And we were like, we should have asked earlier. Anyway, and then he said that we were going to the Sheraton Grand. We put up to the back, and that's when a New South Wales police officer boarded the bus and told us all what to expect. And he was saying like, you're going to be here for 2 weeks. And he started talking about sort of the services that would be provided to us. So they talked about how there's a full police team that like manages the bottom of this hotel. I don't know if manages is the word, but they're in the reception, making sure that nobody enters, nobody leaves. They're there to take care of us. There is also apparently a whole medical team. So apparently there is a general practice doctor that's like on call for this hotel. So like if you're in the hotel and you're feeling sick, if you're feeling dizzy, whether it's COVID related or personal related, like anything else, you can call down to reception, say like, I need the doctor, and they patch you through to that line, so you don't have to wait to try and like connect with like an outside doctor. So this hotel like has a doctor for the hotel quarantine guests. There were also like nurses and like a whole medical team. And they talked about like if you need prescription medicines, like if you have diabetes medicine or anything else, you can call the medical team to like go to a pharmacy to get that prescription for you and deliver it to your room. He also talked about getting food deliveries. Apparently you can get anything delivered here. Like you can do online shopping. It is only 2 weeks, so like you're not going to go crazy buying things, but like apparently you can get online shopping. Your friends and family can like drop things off in the reception for you. You can get like Uber Eats and any other food delivery just dropped at reception and they bring it up to your room. That was when he also gave us these 2 forms to fill out. One of the forms was for the hotel, and it basically tells them if you have dietary requirements, because I think the hotel are like, they're obviously servicing your food every day, so you can say if you're vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, any allergies, if you need kosher food, anything like that. You tell them. And then the second form is for the New South Wales Police, and that's where you basically write down all your contact information, your travel history information, like where you've been, so that they can monitor the hotel quarantine system. When you check in, they do it in smaller groups, so they don't bring everyone off the bus at the same time. My bus, and I don't know if it's different every time, but my bus did 4 people at a time. So the first 4 people in the front go down, and the process does take a while. Like I think it took me about half an hour to check in, so everyone else waits on the bus. So I do recommend that if you are doing hotel quarantine, try sit at the front of the bus. When you're in the airport, that doesn't really matter if you're at the front of the line or the back of the line, like you all travel as a group. But when you're on the bus getting to the hotel, sitting at the front means you get off faster. So I was sitting in the front and I was in the first group of 4 to go, and you leave your luggage, you don't touch it, you go through the hotel and you give them your form to say if you have any allergies, if you need any food requirements. And at this point, the people that I was with, I didn't even think to do this, but the 3 people I were with were asking like, can I get a room with like a sunlight view? Because obviously we're stuck in here for 14 days. So they were like, if I can't go outside, can I at least see like the sun? Can I please request a room with like a window? Because some rooms don't have windows. I did hear somebody ask about upgrading to a room with a balcony. I heard them say that the total was an extra $2,100 per night. So on top of the standard $3,000 fee, which is for all hotels, like whether you stay at a 3-star hotel, a 5-star hotel, a motel, a hostel. I don't even think hostels are part of the hotel quarantine system, but no matter what accommodation you pick, you pay $3,000 for the 14 stay, and it's a flat rate. And that basically covers your room, Wi-Fi, water, electricity, 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Apparently you don't get snacks, so bring your own snacks. It pays for the hotel staff taking care of you, the cleaners, the medical team that I spoke about, like the doctor, and the nurses, and then the police downstairs. So if you wanted to upgrade to a room with a balcony for an extra $2,000, that makes your hotel quarantine like over $5,000, which to me is just crazy, when we're already spending thousands of dollars on these last minute flights that are really expensive. I did film when I got here and like kind of settled in a room tour, so I might cut to that now. So this is the front door that you come through. They actually didn't even give me a hotel key because you're not meant to be leaving your room. So you just shut the door, you have no key to get back in because you should never be leaving it anyway. There's this little peephole that you can see the corridor from, and that's where they leave all of like your food every day outside, and they knock on the door and you have to wait 10 seconds for them to leave before you open it and collect your food. You come through and this is the little closet. So I've just hung up some of my clothes. There's an iron, there are these racks with some hangers, iron, that's dirty clothes that I've got, my shoes. I've got one of my suitcases in here. So this is a pretty big wardrobe. Come through and there's a full-length mirror over here. And as you can see, this is a very nice hotel. So I think I was telling you guys, this is a 5-star hotel that I've stayed at previously for work trips, and me and my boyfriend stayed here for Valentine's Day, and we deliberately picked this hotel because it's a really nice one. It's called the Sheraton Grand in Sydney, and it has incredible views. I'm going to show you. So this is the shower, that's really big, the toilet, and they left me obviously toilet paper, and there's extra toilet paper because I'm going to be here for 2 weeks. You can make requests for like extra toiletries if you need stuff. There's a hairdryer as well there. I've just got all my toiletries set up. They did give me They gave us washing detergent, so you can like wash your clothes in the sink or in the bathtub, which is over here. This is a very big bathtub, obviously. I'm very lucky. There's this beautiful mirror. And then there was also, I think this is like a hair net, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, like lotion, and all of these things you can request more from the reception. All my towels come through to the living space. This is a little mini fridge. So when I got here today, yeah, they quickly soon delivered lunch, and lunch today was a chicken Caesar tortilla wrap that I haven't eaten yet, but I'm just refrigerating. And there was this little like herb garden salad, an apple, orange juice, apple juice, there's some milk. And then they also, and the food comes in these little baskets or these little boxes. Like I said, they put them on the ground and they knock, and then you wait for them to leave, and then you go and collect it. They gave you some plastic cutlery that I'm holding on to because you don't know when you're going to need it. And then just like some biscuits, some dinner rolls, and some cheese and crackers. There is some tea. There's English breakfast, Earl Grey, and green tea. And you know I love my green tea, so I'm very excited about that. There's a kettle and a coffee machine, but I don't drink coffee. Glasses. This is just like storage. There's nothing in there. I've already checked. This is the TV, pretty big, quite nice. I'm just putting more suitcases here. This is my workstation that I'll be working from. Got my work laptop because I'll be working during quarantine. And then the bed. Very nicely, they did provide 6 1.5 litre bottles of fresh water, and I think that you can request more, so you don't have to drink tap water. I don't really have an issue with drinking tap water, but this, if you do, this hotel at least provides water in bottles that you can request. This is the bed. Over here is the other nightstand. There's some artwork, a cushion. I've got another suitcase, a little table here, and this is my view of Hyde Park. So Hyde Park is an incredibly beautiful park in Sydney CBD, and I got so lucky that my hotel looks out towards it. I've actually stayed here before, like I told you, and on my previous trips I did not have a room with a view of Hyde Park. I had rooms with views of just like buildings, so all you see next to is like a big brown building, and you don't get any like real sunlight or anything, so I'm super lucky that I have sunlight here. Yeah, this is the chair. I was making 2-minute noodles earlier. I do recommend that if you come, you pack your own snacks, because they do deliver breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, but you don't get any snacks. So if, like me, you like to snack, I recommend that you pack some snacks. So I actually packed Shin Cup ramen, one of my favorite 2-minute noodles, a bag of barbecue chips, and then a bag of one of my favorite spicy Asian potato chips. And I know that I got exceptionally lucky with this hotel. I thought I would show you what the rubbish process here looks like. This is the rubbish bin that I have for the room, and that has a plastic bag in it. So it's this one, and you put all your rubbish in that bin. So I'm going to do this here. And then take the bin outside, and then they give you a replacement bin for the next day. So I'm going to put everything in here. Now we're going to take this outside and put it at the front door. Today is my first full day in quarantine. It is such a beautiful sunny day in Sydney, and I have an amazing view of Hyde Park. Somebody came and dropped off food about 10 minutes ago, so let's go see what breakfast is today. Thank you, you too. Bye. Bye. So that was, I just got a call from like the mental health care team looking after this hotel. Obviously the phone started ringing and I wasn't expecting it, so I couldn't grab my phone, but I grabbed it mid-call. And they basically do phone calls every couple of days to just check in how your mental health is doing. She asked me like if I'm feeling anxious or like nervous or stressed and how I'm coping with like the quarantine. This is my first day being in this room for like one full day, so obviously things are not awful like yet, or like I feel fine, and I don't know if it's gonna get worse or if I'm gonna start feeling like isolated and stuff. But anyway, a very nice courtesy call that they do, and really great testimony to how like great the hotel quarantine program is. I understand not all hotels are like this, but at least this hotel is doing a really great job making sure that all the guests are cared for physically and mentally, and I think that's really important. So kudos to the Sheraton Grand and all of the police and medical team here that are taking really good care of us. So I just attempted my first successful Uber Eats delivery. So basically I ordered it off my phone like usual, went to any of the restaurants in the city that delivered to this hotel, and I said in the notes, like, please drop with hotel reception, tell them it's for Vivian, staying in room 1530. And then they actually wrote it on the bag as well, Vivian 1530. I'm not sure if the restaurant wrote that or if the hotel reception wrote that once they got it. And then basically somebody from hotel reception brought it up to my room, and I'll show you what that looks like because I filmed it through the keyhole of my door. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, so I've got some delicious lunch because I've been craving some Thai food, and it's Saturday and my first weekend in here, and it's a long weekend, so I thought I would do something a little bit nice for myself. Okay.
So we start by confirming your name and date of birth, please. And do you have any of the following symptoms? Shortness of breath, cough, sore throat, runny nose?
No.
Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea? Loss of taste, smell or appetite?
No.
Unexplained fatigue, muscle or joint pain?
No.
Chest pain, headache or conjunctivitis?
No. Very impressive you can remember that all.
Oh, you can be frail multiple times a day. Quick temperature for you. 36.7. So I'm presuming you've had a swab before by now?
Yes.
Most people have.
Yeah.
Here we do back of the throat and both nostrils.
Oh, both nostrils.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get you to rest your back on the door.
Okay.
And face your own wall there. So if I make you cough, it's into your rib.
Okay, yeah.
We'll do the throat first. So open and say R for me. 3, 2, 1. And the other side. 3, 2, 1. Very nice. And now relax your face. We'll do the nose.
Do you want me to lean back or?
If you just stay still.
Oh, God.
3, 2, 1. I know it's really scratchy, isn't it? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you are. You're done. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Now the results take a few days to come back, but we only call you if they're positive for this one. So
Okay, perfect. So I shouldn't expect anything.
That's right.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. So that was my nose feels so tingly now. This always happens to me after a test. That was my first COVID test on day 2. Day 3 of hotel quarantine, and I just heard a knock at my door, and I'm on Zoom with my boyfriend who's acting very suspicious. So I think it's something from him, but I don't know. Look at this. Oh God, how do I pick it up? Oh my goodness. They smell good, so I know I don't have COVID because I haven't lost my sense of smell. Today is day 4 of hotel quarantine, and I just heard a delivery come to my door, so I'm gonna go check out what it is. I have a feeling I know what it is because I asked my friend Emma in Sydney to help me get some stuff. Hopefully this is it. It is, in fact, my little goodie bag. So thank you so much, Emma, for helping me. Obviously, because I can't leave my hotel room, I can only get things that can be delivered. And because I have this incredible marble bathtub that I would love to use, I wanted to get some bath bombs from Lush, which is a very popular brand here in Australia that do bubble bath and essential oils and stuff like that. But the delivery was going to take 5 to 10 days if I ordered off their website, and I'm only going to be here for a couple more days, so obviously that wasn't going to work. So I asked my friend Emma, who lives in Sydney, if she could help go to a store and buy this stuff for me, and I would pay her back. So she did. Thank you so much. So she bought me... Oh my goodness! She put a surprise in here for me. So So first of all is my bath bomb, and I'll open all of this later for you guys. But I just spotted she left me lollies. So I didn't ask for this. She just gave me this. So that's so sweet. And she wrote this really beautiful note on the bag that says, Vivian, my room number, stay safe, Viv M. So thank you so much, Emma. So sweet of her. Hey guys, today is day 13 of hotel quarantine. It's my last full 24 hours here, and hopefully I will be able to check out from this hotel tomorrow morning. I just wanted to do like a really quick summary of how I found the whole experience. Honestly, it's been a lot better than I was expecting. I was expecting to get a really small room with like no natural light. I didn't think I would have any windows and it would just be like artificial lighting. I didn't think I'd get like such a wonderful view of like the whole of Sydney, and it's really helped every day just like being able to look down at Hyde Park, and usually you can see people having picnics here, people walking to work, so you still get to like see people. I've had friends come here and like wave to me. I've had people drop off food for me, like bathroom deliveries so I can take a bath. Honestly, it's been a lot better than I was expecting. It's still been a little tough just not seeing people, like missing like my friends and my family, but that's been kind of standard for me being overseas anyway. I completely get how this experience could be really isolating and tough on people if you don't have natural sunlight and you can't see nature and trees and people. In terms of the food, it's been pretty average. It's very airplane and like hospital type food. It just doesn't taste great, but you can always get your own food deliveries if you want. Yesterday was my day 12 and I had my second test. As I think I've said, they test you on day 2 and day 12, and if either of those tests come back positive, you have to stay longer. So I'm waiting for my second test results from yesterday today. I was told that somebody, and I don't know if I'll be able to film it, which is why I'm just talking about it now, because they asked me not to film my second test and some other stuff. But yeah, so somebody today is meant to be coming to my room to give me the physical test results for yesterday, and hopefully they're negative and then I can leave tomorrow, as well as to brief me on how we are meant to check out tomorrow. Because I think that they're giving us like allocated time slots so that not everybody checks out at once and like all the elevators are full and like the reception is full. So yeah, today I'm just going to spend a little time packing. I've still got work to do, obviously. And my breakfast delivery just got dropped off. So this is the last time, hopefully, I will have to go get my breakfast out of a brown box from the door. So I'm going to go do that and start packing for us today, and I'll just keep you guys up to date with how my last day goes and how checkout goes and how I go getting back to Melbourne tomorrow. It is the final night. This is night 13. I am going to sleep in this bed and then wake up and walk out that door and go home. And I'm really excited about it. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on how my last day today went. So around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I had a knock at my door. So I went to open the door, and there were a lot of people, which was really surprising. There were 3 police officers, like in the New South Wales police office, like uniform. And then there were 2 medical people. I'm assuming that they're part of like the medical team for this hotel, which I've been talking about a fair bit. They basically asked me for the last time if I had any COVID symptoms, and they obviously go through them all, like nauseousness and headaches and like fever, joint aches, feeling really tired and lethargic, blah blah blah. And then you just tell them yes or no if you've been experiencing any of that today or yesterday. And then they gave me some paperwork to take to the airport that just says we certify that this person, Vivian, has done 14 days of hotel quarantine and she's returned 2 negative COVID tests. And then they give you copies of the test, and it says like she's followed all of the New South Wales and the Australian federal requirements to be able to fly into into Victoria. So they gave me that paperwork, and they gave me this wristband. I don't know if you can see it, but it says Thursday. It's upside down there, but it says Thursday, and then it says AM, because every day they have an AM checkout and a PM checkout. And they gave me this wristband, and they put it straight on you, obviously, so you can't give it to somebody else, and like stuff like that. And the reason it says Thursday is so that when I go downstairs tomorrow, it'll be Thursday, to check out, they know that I'm actually allowed to check out. Because obviously, and I actually didn't even think of this, but I guess people that are in hotel quarantine, if they don't want to be in hotel quarantine, they could try and sneak and check out, and just say like, oh, like I'm part of today's group to check out. So the wristband proves that you're meant to be part of that day's checkout group. Anyway, and the wristband is, for those wondering, it is waterproof. Like, they put it on and then I had a shower and it hasn't fallen off and it hasn't like gotten wet or like ripped or anything. It's like a concert wristband. Like, they're really hard to get off. You basically have to cut them, so you don't have to worry that once I put it on you it's gonna fall off or it's gonna fall apart. Like, it's very secure. Good morning. Today is day 14 and I am getting out of here. So I just went out to my door to check if I didn't know if I was gonna get breakfast this morning, so mostly I was checking for breakfast, and I didn't find breakfast, but I found this. So here they gave me a box of 50 masks. So you can see it's 50 pieces of mask with ear lips. So I'm assuming I'm meant to wear one of these when I leave, which I obviously will. I have my own mask, but I might as well just wear the ones they gave me if they want me to wear that one. They gave me like a bit of a checkout form thing. I'm not going to show it to you just because it's got some private information on it, and it just explains how to check out and just talks about like where they want you to walk. So like all the hallways have like a walking direction and like a leaving direction, so they just say like please don't cross over the line, and like please follow all of the safety officer instructions, blah blah blah, like keep the lifts empty, no more than 2 people. They do say please leave the air conditioning on when you leave, as this is part of the cleaning process. So I'm going to go turn on the aircon. The really important bit I wanted to tell you guys is that there is a deliberate note here that says please do not leave any personal belongings behind, because everything left in the room will be disposed of immediately. So obviously they're assuming that if you came here with COVID, like you don't have COVID anymore, but like your like personal belongings and objects and stuff like that might. I'm not really sure, but basically they said like everything in this room as soon as I leave is going to get put in the bin or washed. Like all the bed linens are getting straight away washed. So they said like if you leave anything behind, it's going to get binned. So just make sure you do a really thorough sweep to not leave anything behind, because if you leave something, they're not going to hold on to it for you. And it's so funny, it says on a lighter note, the hotel would like to leave you with this certificate as a memory of this unique experience. Please note this is not an official government documentation. It is a mere memory from the hotel team, which is so cute. And then I've got this little thing, and this isn't like official documentation, it's just from the hotel, that says congratulations, completion of COVID-19 quarantine, which is really cute. Just a little memento. I don't know, some people might not want to remember this experience, but for me it's been pretty good. It's definitely been a little bit weird, so it's something I'll never forget. Yeah, and then there's just some like a leaflet flyer. So I'm gonna put all this stuff in my bag now, put on my mask, head downstairs and get in my Uber to the airport. Goodbye. This is it. I'm off. I'm free! It is. Oh my god, it's amazing. I wasn't able to film the experience leaving the hotel and checking out because I had to give them like my passport, and I had 3 very big bags, but I am free and breathing fresh air, and it feels amazing. And I'll talk about the rest of the experience when I get home to Melbourne. I made it! We are outside the airport, making my way to the car park, and then I'm gonna go home.